So I found this at Half Price Books for $12.99. And let's go ahead and find out what's up. So it comes in this really large box, large magnetic closure box. So to me, I find value in that if and only if there isn't a case. So in this bad boy, we have a black pouch. So that's a plus. So aside from that, I know that I'm not going to be using this because it does have a pouch. So what I realized is that this brand, Spicebox, they manufacture this in China and they're recyclable. This whole paperboard box is recyclable, which I freaking love. So aside from that, first impressions, I didn't realize that it came with a pouch, and aesthetically it has like a matte finish with gold trimmings on the box, and it's decent. It has some wear and tear on it, but that's not their fault. That's just what it is. So let's go ahead and take a peek. So it does come with a book, and the book is a little worn here in the front, but that really doesn't matter. I don't really use the books too much. So the book is actually taped down. So let me go ahead and remove that. And let's take a look here. Oh yeah, so if I were to rip off the sticker that it came with, it would rip the backing. So I'm not going to do that. I'll just go ahead and tape it back. So you're seeing firsthand that it has a tape that would rip this booklet if I were to remove it. So yeah, it comes with this pretty cool booklet. I typically don't use the booklets. I tend to use my own intuition. But let's just take a look and see what we can expect here. So it just goes into like a brief history of the suits, the cards. It has a little breakdown here, which is pretty cool. It has some spreads. The Celtic Cross spread, which is a classic. And it goes into the meanings of all the major arcana. And, you know, we get the sense here that obviously it's going to be a black and white deck, which is pretty different. I love that. Minimalistic coloring. Okay, so it looks like all the major arcana are going to have the purple, like a purple highlight of some sort. So that's going to be interesting. And then we see here like all the other suits will have their I guess their symbol highlighted. That's pretty nice. That's awesome. It really just goes into the meanings of each cup. I mean, I personally wouldn't, you know, use any of this because it is such a basic deck. You know, whenever I do use tarot, I go by the images, I go by the color, and this is going to be a challenge for me, which is why I bought it. So yeah, I'm going to find this pretty cool, pretty interesting. Again, this is from Spicebox, the brand, and it was made in China, so the quality is really not there for the book. It's a pretty standard cardboard backing. The pages feel how do you say, they feel like newsprint, so they're pretty thin. Yeah, it's a standard book. But yeah, so I don't think I would be necessarily using this booklet. I'm actually glad it comes with this little pocket here to, you know, keep the book. But like I said, I don't think I'm going to be keeping this this case. So aside from that, there is a plastic covering that's holding all this together. So I did notice that it has a large recycling, let me see if I could show you. I'm really big on recycling, so I absolutely love that they did that. They use recycling materials here. So yeah, inside of the case there is the Queen of Swords, and of course we have like the suits. Hey guys, I just wanted to quickly let y'all know that this is an example of how you could use this box. You know, if you're a beginner and you know you're playing with your cards and you're wanting to store them, you can also store your crystals, your herbs, anything as you're learning how to read tarot. So I want to give credit where credit is due. You can definitely reuse this box and also store your cards in there too with your book. So I give my 2 thumbs up for this. Yay! Let's go ahead and take a look. We close this off to the side, and oh, here we go. We just pop on open, and we have the black pouch, which is pretty large. There is no marketing on it, which is pretty awesome. I like that. It does have a golden brown little closure, which I absolutely love. And let's see if it's easy to open. Yep, it's easy to open. And then inside out, yeah, that's pretty much what you would get. It's pretty solid, pretty standard too, of a pouch. And I absolutely could see myself, ooh, look at that, it came undone. Uh-oh. So first impression of the bag is that it's awesome, but the string came undone. So uh-oh. Well, I got this for about $12.99, so I mean, you get what you get. You get what you pay for. Alrighty, so it looks like the first card here that they had on display was the Fool. First impression of just handling the card itself, it's, ooh, yeah, you could definitely feel the punch out, the textured on the side. So they basically just punched out the cards. They're not well done. They're not laminated on the edges, so wear and tear over time, you'll definitely see that a lot quicker. So yeah, if we look at the card here, it has like that metallic finish on the edges. I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. That's up my alley. I love shiny, sparkly stuff. So yeah, this card, it feels a little flimsy. It's not that great. And the top and the back of it does feel laminated, so I think it might glide when shuffling. So we'll find that out pretty soon here. So give me a second while I get the rest. So I'm really excited that this material is recyclable. So yay for Spicebox for doing that, for being conscious of the environment, environmentally conscious. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we definitely see here the edging of this deck. It is rough. It is so freaking rough. Oh my gosh. I am not sure if, yeah, it does not feel good in my hands. It feels like, it just feels really rough. I don't know how to explain it, but that actually matters to me, because when I'm handling the cards, like I want to feel like my cards, like I want them to glide. I want them to feel good in my hand. I don't like them to feel rough and rigid. So I, first impression, just by looking at it and feeling it, I would rate this like maybe a 3 out of 10 for just for aesthetic purposes, like just looking at the edges, right? I would say that would be a 3 out of 10, a 3 out of 10. This just doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. It looks pretty cheap. And as a tarot card reader, I don't see this card deck lasting long if I were to use this so often. So here we go. They do have it in order. So we have the Fool. We started off with the Fool. This is an awesome depiction. Like all of these cards have something a little different than the standard Rider-Waite deck. So that's another thing that I've observed as well. So yeah, I actually appreciate that. So there's variations here in the decks, and that's why every deck has its own energy, and why you see people using different decks at times. They're probably drawn to that energy. So yeah. The World, and that is all for the major arcana. I won't go through the entire deck. I would highly suggest that you know, if you're interested, to go ahead and purchase the deck if you can find it. But overall, first impressions of, you know, just looking at like the major arcana, I think it's nice. I think it, like, they have some different variations. Like one would be the Strength card. Typically the Strength card is depicted as a woman, you know, wrestling down a lion. So to see it like this, where the lion actually looks happy, and it's, you know, they're looking at each other, they're smiling, they're at peace, like that's awesome. Even Death looks a little different. So Death looks like he's like in full speed. Like this horse is freaking galloping, and, you know, and Death is with his, you know, little spear here running through. He looks like he's bracing himself. So that's a different depiction of Death. Usually Death is still, I really haven't seen anything like that where the horse is actually galloping towards people. That's different. So what's different here is that we actually have like this couple here grabbing hands. They look like they're having fun. I guess, yeah, who wouldn't have fun with the devil? That's pretty interesting. That's a different take on that. So you know what? They're not, you know what? Yeah, so these are actually, they're not people. They are they're demons, because they have like little tails. Oh my god, that's totally different. That's awesome. So just for the major arcana itself, I would rate the aesthetic, like just by looking at the depictions here, I would rate it a 9 out of 10. I think that they really nailed it here. There are some different elements, like I said, like the Death card and the Judgment. We actually have a smiling lion, and it looks like they're embracing. So it's really not that far off as far as what the typical tarot would look like. So yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased with that. And as far as shuffleability, if that's a word, I don't know. I tend to make up words. But shuffling wise, yeah, you could already see the cards peeling on the edges here just by me handling them. I'm not really happy with this shuffability. It is definitely damaging the cards. So I do not think I'm going to, I don't know if you can see the edges right here. Like, they're already starting to peel just with that shuffle. So guys, honestly, I don't think this card would last long term. I think it would be, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be happy with this deck. So overall, aesthetically, it is pleasing. I really like it. I honestly, I don't like the quality of the card. It's really flimsy and just not, it was a good idea, but it wasn't, like, they cut the corners, you know, on execution. And hello, these are cards. You know, people are going to be shuffling them. So you need to make sure that if you're going to develop any kind of cards, or if you're going to be using cards, that they don't have this cut out, punched out, you know, feature or aesthetic, because, you know, people who start shuffling, I mean, they're just going to rip to pieces, like, really quick. So I personally, I don't like the way that these shuffle. Now let me get the rest of the deck. Let me see if I could break it in really quick. I'm gonna rate this a whopping 2 out of 10 for shuffability, guys. I don't like this for actual, like, tarot reading, you know, to having added this to my collection. I think this one is by far one of the worst decks that I've ever had, because, yeah, man, if you could just see how rigid these edges are, you would be like, oh wow, yeah, no. You know what, but if for a beginner, for somebody who's barely learning how to, you know, who's barely learning how to read cards and learning how to handle cards, and that's inexperienced, I would say this would be a good deck. It would probably be a beginner's deck, and I would probably rate that maybe like an 8 or a 7 out of 10, you know, with 10 being like the best deck and 0 or 1 being the worst. So yeah, I don't see this being my, oh, look how messy. So, okay, let me just point this out really quick. So, there's a shit ton of, like, dirt. You see this? Look at this. This is all from the cards. Wow, this is bad. And let me see if I can show you this. That, my friend, is all card stock. So anyway, I think the fact that it came with the pouch, that's awesome. If they could continue to do this, if other makers, tarot card makers, can think about you know, utilizing you know, the pouches, something like this, I would buy it. I would like to purchase that. That's something that I see value, that I see as a value. And the cards, I mean, if I'm being real, and I am, I would say again that this would be definitely for beginners who are barely learning how to shuffle. who are barely learning how to handle cards and, you know, just basic understanding. And maybe some other professionals or more advanced readers would disagree, and you know, it is what it is. My preference, honestly, I like good sliding cards. The edging, it bothers the shit out of me that it's just not well done. It's already damaging as I shuffle. I wish they wouldn't have cheaped out on that part. I wish they could have just fully laminated each card and, you know, done it that way. But aesthetically, it looks nice. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say on it other than for it being 13 bucks, I guess it's okay, but not really, because they really did cheap out on the finishing on it. So it kind of killed it for me now. I love the foil effect. I love the highlighting of some of these colors here. Again, it's going to be a challenge for me because I typically use the coloring to kind of get feelings out of each card. You know, something will stand out to me every time when I use a different deck. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it, and I really like the backing of this. I think that this minimalistic aesthetic is pretty freaking badass. So I like the aesthetic. They just really cheaped out on the finishing. So aside from that, I hope that this video helped you kind of give you a first-hand look. And I kind of want to sneeze because of this dust that it produced, and it's still coming. But yeah, guys, so me personally, I would say this deck is a 3 out of 10. And I probably would just use it for funsies, not really for my professional readings, just because it's just not a well-made card stock. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm still gonna see what I could do here with it and try to work it out. Aside from that, guys, I hope that I find something useful here.